I think the screen is visible.
Yes, it is visual.
It is visual. Okay. Yeah. So, so the purpose of this talk today is to address the significant gap between the research we conduct, between the research that we conduct in our masters, bachelors, or PhDs, and the process of translating those research into uh, market-ready products is what is required. And that is why, like, I wanted to talk about regulatory pathways, because we do all other things like data collection, algorithm development, and testing during our master's or PhD work. But we don't have, like, especially I was not having that information about how to like make that algorithms or the product to the market. So what are those regulatory pathways? How to, like, deal with the medical devices and how to test those medical devices? What are the standards? So mainly I'll talk about those things. And since these medical devices products are very stringent, so the product regulations are very stringent, and navigating these pathways is critical step for successful market entry. So this presentation may give you some insights over the gap between the research and um, and how to take them to the market mostly. And apart from that, I just tell me the brief about myself. So I completed my PhD from IIT Roorkee. I did my PhD on automated arrhythmia detection algorithms. So I also used multiple deep learning techniques and different signal processing techniques to get arrhythmias. So what is arrhythmias? If some of you don't know that, so they are just heart diseases. So we record ECG signals. So ECG signals are having a PQRST kind of wave. So that is so there are some standards like these, how it's called as normal wave. And if something changes in the morphology of that signals, so that is what is called as arrhythmias. And that was my work, automated detection of those arrhythmias. And during that process, I was also working with Elastic Care, which was one of the healthcare startup in Canada. So I was working with them, and there, I got this knowledge about the regulatory pathways and how to take those algorithms further and how to pass those regulatory pathways. So I'll talk about FDA, CDSO. CDSO, SCO is what Indian medical regulatory organization is there. So if you want to market any device in India, then we have to pass that test. Similarly, FDA is what in North America. So mostly Canada, US uses such tests needed to be passed. And mostly these things what we'll look into today. So why cardiovascular devices? Because day by day, the market size of these devices are increasing. Today, it's by 2025, it will be $30 billion, and annual growth of 5% is there, and a market share of 40% is there in North America, Europe, and Asia Pacific. I'm talking about them. So, and it will keep on increasing. Nowadays, you can see there are multiple wearable devices also that's coming. But to give you some insights over those medical devices, they are not FDA approved. So if you'll see those Apple devices or Fitbit and all those medical devices that we wear nowadays, so they are not for medical what do you say, tests. So they will give you some information, and then you have to go to the doctor and they'll guide you mostly. not so they are not diagnostic devices. So that's what is there. So they need not to pass those FDA regulations. But if you are working on the medical devices, then you have to pass those regulations there. So yeah, so cardiovascular devices actually are like crucial role for monitoring, diagnosing, and treating the heart conditions mostly. So, and there are different classification also of regulatory standards and the latest advancements in cardiovascular devices technology, including the development of commercialized algorithms. So I'll just give you an example of commercialized algorithms. So during my PhD, I was developing an algorithm for ECG denoising. So what I mean by ECG denoising is like I was filtering those ECG signals and filtering those ECG signals like, so because I was working on Holter monitor devices. So what are Holter monitors are like, you can wear those devices or wearable monitoring devices I'll talk about. So you can wear those devices and you can do multiple tasks, daily routine tasks. You can run, you can do jogging, you can do multiple such things. So what's happening with that because of the movement of these leads and device and the like skin to electrode that like sometimes electrode comes out during this process. So that will cause some of the noises, like noise in the ECG signals. And as I said, like what is that arrhythmias? Arrhythmias are nothing but it's like if some morphology of that PQRST wave, that's a ECG wave will change, then what happens, like we'll consider that as an arrhythmia. So that can give you the false alarm. So so we need to denoise those signals very like it's very important to denoise those signals before doing arrhythmia classification or such techniques. So like as we all like know about the signal processing methods, there are wavelet methods, there are EMD methods, there are multiple such methods. But the constraint about those methods are like they cannot what they cannot do is like they cannot filter out the data. Like if SNR is very high, means the noise is very high in your ECG signals, then it's very it's like there is certain threshold up till when these methods will work. And if there is a very like profound sound or noise there, then these methods will not work. So what I did, like I have gone into autoencoders. So you may be knowing about autoencoders. So they are the base of all these LLM models that we are transformers, LLM models, all those models that we are looking out nowadays. So they are of encoder and decoder. So they have encoder, they have latent space in between, and then decoder part there. So this is the vanilla autoencoder I'm talking about. But what is denoising autoencoders are like you can add the noise in those ECG signals, and then you have to pass those noise through your encoder and decoder part. And after the decoder part, you'll get very denoised ECG signal. That's what theory says. But it will not work. Like if you'll do the experimentation and all, like when you work on these ECG signals, you need to be like, what is happening with this encoder and decoder parts? Like when you are passing your signals, most of the like morphologies. So if you'll see ECG wave, in ECG wave, the P wave and T wave, that is the like before QRS wave, I don't have that ECG waveform here, so it's very difficult to tell you like that. But yeah, I may say like if you'll see that P wave and T wave, so they are very small in amplitudes. So what is happening with that, like during the process of encoding and decoding, what is happening, like you are losing those informations. So we need to be very much careful about getting those P and T waves mostly. So therefore, like I have used some attention model. It's a self attention model that I have used, and also I've used some skip layers very much similar to the unit network, if you can see. So in unit networks, we have those skip layers, but I've also used attention model, and you may read about that paper. It's in IEEE transactions of instrumentation. So there you can read about that paper. So that is how like we achieved a better results in denoising those signals. And as I said, like I was working with one of the hospital in India. So there is a Dr. Devi Shetty, who's a very renowned cardiologist. He was one of my supervisor during my PhD. So so after that denoising and classification of those models, I went to the doctor and uh, told him like I'm getting 99% of accuracy on those MIDBIs arrhythmia database that we were having. And he was like, he said to me like, even doctors cannot get like seasoned doctor like him cannot detect 99% of accuracy for those arrhythmia classification. And then because I was using deep learning models, then they asked about what is that how your model is working, because doctors doesn't care about deep learning and whatever like signal processing what you are doing. To them, what matters is like the model that you are going to deploy in the